Congratulations on your very special award this evening.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here. How does it feel to be honored with such a prestigious award?
I'm awed and thrilled. I guess the connection that most people wouldn't realize who are of a certain age is that I worked in the same generation and era as Walt. So I knew all of the great stories about Walt, how the Juno started as the Maple Awards, I think. The catering for the first Junos was done on Walt Grealis' mother's kitchen table. She made little finger sandwiches for the banquet. It was very modest, but I think Walt and his partner Stan Cleese had the same feeling about Canadian music. No one was stepping up. And you got tired about complaining about people not stepping up, so it seemed obvious that you would have to step up. So that's what Walt did. He stepped up, and his trade magazine, RPM, was the most important publicity vehicle that we had then. And for me, it was getting tired of talking to the branch plants at the record company that weren't into producing local music. So my brother Dan Roman and I formed a little record label called Roman Records, and we had both the fortune and misfortune of having 5 straight chum charts right out of the box. I thought it was easy. Well, it cost me an investment in my life insurance to do my last production, but the whole experience was worth it.
That's an awesome story.
Thank you.
And I remember RPM very well.
Yes, for sure.
Do I have any questions in the audience? Yes. Thank you.
Please raise your hand so these lights are... Oh, hi. Okay.
Congratulations, Mr. Roman, on the achievement.
Thank you.
A two-part question. I just wanted to know, how big of a factor do you think radio plays in the Canadian music industry today? And the second part of that question is there room to improve for the radio broadcasting to do more for the Canadian industry as a whole to promote the music scene?
Boy, that is a tough question, and you sound like you've done a bit of homework. At times, a good year in radio financially is having an even flat year. In other words, no losses. I think we're all sort of victimized by technological change. I think that you've got to figure out where you fit in this role of ever-changing technologies. And for radio, I think that they have tried everything they know to compete with the internet, with downloading, with all the diversions that people now have to listen to music. And I think they got away from their principal role, and that sort of gets to part 2 of your question, and that is, in an effort to compete with downloading and the YouTube music flow and all of those other things, we built these long, extreme music sweeps. You know, if your station was 93 on the dial, you had 93 minutes of uninterrupted music. I don't think you can win that game. I think radio has to serve its audience. I think it has to get back to its local roots. I think we should have personality, wacky DJs, other people that are now finding their way to express themselves on YouTube and going viral. And in the meantime, we had all that with the DJs of the 60s and the 70s. We were entertainers. We basically had people look forward to turning on the radio, not just for the music and the flow, which you had, but for what you did between the records. And that would be probably summarize my approach to radio broadcasting and the formats I built for both Chum AM and Chum FM, and that is anybody can get these records, but it's what you do between the records that's important. And I think we've sort of desperately been trying to face the technology changes, and I think we've sort of lost our soul.
Mr. Roman, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Congratulations.